Good evening and welcome to the St. Petersburg by Night podcasting network. Tonight, we present to you our Werewolf the Apocalypse Chronicle, Rage Across Tampa.
Welcome to another St. Pete by Night revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
In the heart of night, we rise from shadows, howling at the moon, igniting our battles, cleansing dire of an endless fight, until our final days we will fight. Thanks, man, we stand united as one. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the grave can tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Everywhere we run, the wind is at our back. All the warring forces we will track. From the depths of the ocean to the clouds in the sky, vampires tremble as we learn to fight. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the brave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Everywhere with the pack, let the nightmare die. In battles of honor, we shall never hide. We'll never hide.
Good evening and welcome to the St. Pete by Night Entertainment Network. St. Petersburg by Night is a World of Darkness community broadcasting from St. Petersburg, Florida. My name is Kent, also known as Michikent on all social media, and I will be your storyteller tonight. It's Tuesday night, and you know what that means. It's time for Rage Across Tampa, our Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th edition chronicle set in the city of Tampa Bay, Florida, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll actually make it through a full story tonight. But in the spectrum of things that could happen, who knows what's possible? We're just gonna have to wait and see what's possible. But I have high hopes for this evening because I have an amazing group of players who make this game possible, and I want to go ahead and introduce that amazing group of players now. Players, go ahead and introduce yourselves if you please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Champ, Champagne, my little soda pup, whatever you want to call me. And I will be playing Aspen, Weiss, Philodox of the Silver Fangs.
Hey everybody, I'm Noree, your idol, and I'll be playing Malicious, Jester, Galliard of the Black Furies.
Hi everybody, I'm Walks, and I will be playing Lucas Shaw, the Ragabash of the Shadow Lords, and while we may lose connection, we only need half the time for twice the impression.
Everybody, my name's Preston. I play Jason Dreams-In-Decay Thorne, and this is how it's done.
Of course, you can follow St. Pete by Night on all of that social media you see listed down below and in the description. And you can join our community by following that Discord link where you could take part in activities that are happening all month long. And who knows, maybe you could find yourself at one of the tables that are forming soon in games like Werewolf the Apocalypse, Vampire the Masquerade, and Hunter the Reckoning, because we do have tables forming soon and you could be a part of them. So if you want to dive headfirst into the world of darkness, come join our community by following that Discord link. So, Pack, before we were rudely interrupted last week, we have been recouping from some of the events of encountering the mushroom infected individuals or creations that seem to have been spawning from the plants that have been sprouting up from the ground all around. And now this week, it seems we are preparing to deal with Jace's infection. But before we get to all that, Aspen had a meeting of the Ragabashes where she decided to go over the various events that seemed to be happening, where she was bouncing off the minds of both Artie and Lucas as to how to handle the affairs of the day, especially after encountering the Mokale known as She Who Shines, who seemed to have appeared within the cairn of the Sept of the Evening Star, most unexpectedly. A Mokale who is a neighbor, seemingly, to the Sept, who has gone unknown for many, many years. A Mokale who has a bone to pick, quite literally, with the Guru, but is willing to set aside past grudges if one particular issue can be handled. Because it seems this infection, these plants aren't just affecting this side of the bay, but are affecting her side as well, as she takes her home in a particular swamp over on the Pinellas County side of the bay, in a particular refuge in one park or one swamp over on that side. And she says that if you were to help her cleanse her swamp of the infection of the plants that have started to crop up there, maybe, just maybe, an alliance could be formed. So that, amongst all the other problems that were forming, have been weighing heavily upon the leadership that is Aspen. And so she started to bounce these ideas off of Lucas and Artie, and many ideas were passed back. Should they extend the alliance with the leeches to possibly take one more problem off of them, to possibly have them not have to watch their backs until they could find an advantageous time to betray the leeches? But would they be willing to let their honor take the hit of being dishonorable and being the ones to betray the leeches? That is something that Aspen would have to consider. And now, with the Hellhounds out of town trying to seek iron up in Michigan, the Guru find themselves especially short-handed. One thing that has come known to the pack is that the cairn seems to have had extra effects upon being awakened. It seems to have sent out a signal to the changing breeds, and they seem to be drawn to this particular location. Who else could be coming? Who else could arrive in this particular location? What else could be waiting in the shadows? So, our story begins tonight as three of the Guru of the Sept of the Evening Star meet within the daylight of the cairn to discuss various matters, to seek out more advice, and to plan for the future to come. Aspen, Jester, and Charles have gathered within the cairn around the hand-carved wooden table of the leadership of the Sept. Charles paces alongside the table, flexing his hands somewhat eagerly, as he has been confronted several times within the past few weeks with entities of immense power that he has not quite been able to face or confront directly for one reason or another, whether it's been because he's had to protect a member of the Sept, whether it's because there's been conversations to be had, or whether it's because he's possibly been outmatched. So needless to say, it's obvious based off of his body language that he is frustrated. But the scene is yours.
Jester's currently sitting on the table, one leg just like swinging nervously, almost like back and forth a little bit. The other's kind of tucked under her on the table.
Aspen is sitting up, tapping a pen on the table, looking down at the table, not really examining anything, but deep in thought before she lifts her head. Okay, so we've been dealing with a lot, obviously. This She Who Shines definitely brings a new, interesting debacle to us now. She had mentioned things of more potentially coming, and that on top of the leeches and the fae and all. Well, it's a lot, right?
Yes. A lot. Also, really starting to seem like those like fantasy books that keep coming out, except a lot less romance in them.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do if there's more romance in these situations. So I guess it's okay with what we're doing now.
No one is allowed to fall in love with that thing.
Noted.
I wasn't planning on it. I'll talk to Lucas though. He seemed to really take a shine to her.
He already had an affair with one lizard creature. I wouldn't put it past him to be attracted to a second.
Fair point. And we'll also make sure that Jason doesn't fall in love with a fae or a turtle. Exactly.
Supposed to have a discussion with Lucas about security protocols for the cairn. We should also consider discussing with the spirits that are supposed to be protecting this place why they are just letting other changing breeds in.
I think it's, I don't know, the full story on any of this, honestly. But I think the spirits might be letting them in because I'm getting a sense that when the tribe was around, they were more open to accepting people coming in and going.
Perhaps.
But that was like, what, centuries ago? So things are a lot different.
From my understanding, some tribes had a better exchange with breeds than others. How much of an extent that goes to, I'm not sure. But I think it's a good idea to know what we're getting into when it comes to the changing breeds. I know of the War of Rage, I know of some of the changing breeds, but details are a little fuzzy for me when it comes to the changing breeds.
I think you know more than me, and honestly, I'd love to be caught up on some of this stuff since I feel like it's got to be relevant, at least in So we don't have other things that we may necessarily have to fight. Like, to be honest, we could really use more on our side than against us.
Absolutely. With everything going on, we need all the allies we can get. And I'd much rather not be at the cusp of another war of rage. I'd rather have allies in them if we can make that happen.
It wasn't a glamorous part of our history, that's for certain. And old grudges run deep. It's going to be a very difficult thing to convince others of, especially the Mokale. They are like record keepers, as far as I'm aware. Their memories, they're known for passing on or being able to recall things from times long past. Or this she who shines. Though she may not be very old, she can remember the events of the War of Rage as if they'd happened to her directly. Now, for the other changing breeds, it may not be the case. They may not even know anything about it. But what they will know is that there are very few of them. And there's a reason for that. And we're the reason for that.
Right.
Well, what are the others? What can we do to plan for potentials? Because we're gonna meet another one. It's what it sounds like, at least.
Be honest, I can't say for certain. Based off of our location, there are many possibilities. Anything from Garal, werebears, to Bastet, werecats. I mean, there are bobcats in the area, so it's possible that some of them may be shape changers, although they would have to be fairly well hidden. Obviously, Mokale were a possibility given the region. The Rokia. I would be surprised to see them. They have long been believed to be a myth, but if they exist, it's very unlikely they would leave the water for any reason. And as long as we don't go there, they have no reason to come here.
Okay,
And
so
they will
we can at least keep them down at the bottom of the list. That's good.
As Lucas had mentioned, there's also the possibility of the bats. The bats are the ones I am primarily wary of, for they are believed to have succumbed to the worm, as they are most closely tied to the leeches. It's believed there's a connection between them.
What kind of connection?
It's hard to say. Some believe there's a direct one, others believe that it's just a myth or a rumor, a story. But Some say that the War of Rage drove Bat into the waiting arms of the worm, and that the patron spirit of Bat was corrupted, much like the spirit of Fly, as they were both worm spirits, spirits of decay. And that in their corruption, the werebats, being ones that feast upon blood, changed, turned, began to adopt the qualities of leeches, perhaps even created leeches. Now, I don't necessarily believe in all of that. But one thing I am most certain of, they are likely insane.
Cool.
And dangerous.
So based off of that, if one were to come here because of the outreach, would there be a potential of talking them down, or is that one that we take care of if it comes to that?
I would have thought talking to a Mokale was impossible. This is unknown territory, to be honest with you, Aspen. Everything in all of my training has taught me that none of these creatures are to be dealt with. They are all to be combated.
I'm sure they say the same about us.
Certainly. And for good reason. What we did to them, well, whatever the reason was, it wasn't called for.
Since this is new territory, I guess going forward, what looking for the right word. What, I guess, how do we want to start to approach things, and like what are absolutely things that are absolutely off the table in order to like get them to work with us? Or to even just have them not openly at war with us, so to say.
I don't believe they have the forces for a war. It's very unlikely that they have the ability to ally amongst themselves. Whatever issues they have with us, they likely have with each other as well. So even if they were able to have an alliance, they likely don't have the numbers to ally against us. That being said, the question is valid. And it's a question for you, Aspen. What is off the table? What are you unwilling to offer for their alliance?
Well, if it comes down to, which is something I considered, an eye for an eye sort of situation, that's off the table. If they want one of ours for us to have a conversation, that will never happen. But I'm open to hearing all of them out. I mean, after what their people were put through, I think they at least deserve to have a conversation. I just don't think that more violence is going to be something that will solve any of this.
Kind of agree. It kind of puts everyone in a worse position if we're all trying to fight for Gaia. I mean, these, what were they called again? Werebat, like, what was their name?
My pronunciation is a little rusty, but I believe it's Kazmataz.
Okay. Werebats, because fine. I'll just go with that for now while we're talking here. Them aside for possibly being insane or of the worm, like, I guess we're gonna have to figure that out if we come across one. But yeah, I kind of agree that like retribution or like death of one of ours to make up for things that happened in the past, like we didn't do any of that, but you know, definitely up for trying to help build new bridges. Speaking of that, I would like to spearhead cleaning up She Who Shines Swamp. I'd like to go pretty soon, even before we get the iron. Maybe I can just take the dagger and test out how it works on the plants, so we have an idea, and if we can take care of it without having to like use any extra iron, that'd be cool. But maybe just, you know, get an idea of how bad it is.
I think we at least have to get an idea of what's happening on that side. If we're going to have more whatever at our doorstep, having one as an ally is probably a good idea to show that we have the ability to make amends. But then again, as Charles said, if they're not getting along either, is having one ally going to cause problems for another one that comes in? These are all just musings I have in my head.
If nothing else, it would be best to make sure that she is not at risk of becoming infected. An infected Mokale would be a very, very dangerous thing to risk.
I absolutely agree. I think there's a lot of benefits to helping her. Also, she's still an innocent out there, so that shouldn't be punished for what's going on.
Charles pauses and turns to face Aspen directly, making eye contact with her and placing his hands on the table. Never assume their innocence. We don't know what they've done. We don't know what they're capable of. Until we know them, we cannot say whether they're innocent or not.
It's a fair point, and I completely agree with you, but I also don't see evidence that they're responsible for the plants. Why would it be in their swamp if it were? So in that case, they are innocent to that.
Agreed.
I have even more worries. I mean, I don't think any of this will be resolved today, but what happens if one of these werebats, no, I'm not even going to try, comes and they are worm-tainted and they don't like what we have to say and they turn to the leeches and start working with them and get them to get this, upper hand on us, or even to the spirals that we have no idea where they're at or what they're doing.
I don't believe they would work directly with the leeches. While I have heard of collaboration between were creatures and leeches in the past, leeches tend to find working with the changing breeds to be debasing themselves beneath them. They
Hasn't
think of
stopped
us
them.
as animals.
Hasn't stopped them from making agreements with us.
No. That is true.
And what of the spirals?
What of them indeed? They are a rogue element in all this. And for all we know, just a rumor. We haven't seen any evidence of their existence here.
Yeah, they could be. I mean,
Only what Bateman has
Bateman.
told you, and that could have just been an in to get you to the bargaining table.
or to get you to agree. But I was thinking about that. Maybe I know Jace has a lot on his plate, but maybe we could ask some of the spirits, as the Black Spiral dancers can travel through the Umbra like we do. Maybe some spirits have seen them, and that could help get rid of some rumors, especially like Jace's patron is Rat. If anybody knows secrets or intel, especially stuff like that, Rat would probably know.
It's true. And I think there's a potential that all of us could maybe talk to our patron spirits and see what we can find out. But Jason is the closest to that, so it would really help in that way. Also, talking to the trees, and she'll look over to Jester and seeing what they know, what information they can give us through their stories.
Yeah, I can do that. Speaking of talking about our patrons, this is a little bit of a tangent. I took Juniper to see Gorgon before they left. I don't know exactly because they were dancing around subjects, and she seems like someone I have to really be careful on how I ask things. But I think she did something recently before she left. I don't know what it is, but from the way they were talking, there was some. I think she might have killed someone recently. There were some hints there. And she seemed too shaken up for me to try to actually directly ask her about her after we left, so I didn't, but might look into it.
Well, there is the whole Delphine and Juniper debacle, obviously.
Yeah, that's. I don't even know where to go with that.
Could be part of what they were speaking on.
Felt more recent than that, but it could be.
Okay, well, definitely have to keep an eye on that. Charles, have you heard anything as far as that goes?
There is one thing that came up recently. There was a report, a brief police blotter that came out of a wild animal attack. Man found dead in his home. Investigation was open and shut, very brief, closed. But they believed it was A wild dog may have gotten into a home, savaged or ravaged the man. They may have even believed it was the man's pet. Details are scarce. With this talk of black spirals in the area, I have been keeping eyes out for any information about animal attacks or anything of the like. That had piqued my interest, but with the lack of details, I just made note of it, but didn't follow up on it.
Okay. It might be something, if we can get any more information about it, that'd be wonderful, just in case it was, well, their pack aside, if it was a black spiral, we should probably know that as soon as possible.
I'll look into it.
Perfect. Thank you, Charles. But also back to this idea of taking care of She Who Shines Swamp. Is that something the two of you would be able to handle?
We can take care of it. Jester and I have been removing plants for some time now when we come upon them, and we've been trimming back some of the parks and publicly traversed areas. If we're able to remove the plants from her area and take care of any of the infected wildlife, should be no problem.
Yeah. And like I said, I'd like to take the iron knife and see, like, if I don't know, cutting one of the plants with it, like, will that cause it to completely be destroyed instead of growing back? Or it's just, I don't expect to cut every plant that's out there with a knife. That's just ridiculous. But, knowing how the iron can affect them will help in, well, it'll help Liza, Lucas, and I in coming up with something that could possibly destroy the plants.
Process of removing the plants individually is slow and delicate, and even leaving a scrap of the plant allows it to grow back over time. If there is something that is more complete and quick, it would be good to have a solution. So a test of any kind would be worthwhile.
I agree, especially if we know what effects the iron, even an iron weapon, could have on the plants. It'll give us something of an idea, even if it's something small.
Yeah.
Also, the fire is far too destructive and has too much risk, especially in a woodland area, of widespread damage.
I agree.
Yeah.
We don't need to hurt more of the land while trying to fix this issue. Be counterintuitive. And I will be going with Lucas soon to figure out the iron with the leeches, with Bateman. Get a better idea of how exactly they see that deal completely working. I have some things written up, some ideas, but I'll have Lucas go with me so we can make sure everything goes smoothly.
You gonna be all right?
It's temporary, and that helps. It'll be fine.
You want a secret stress ball? You can just squeeze it under your table whenever he talks.
Maybe. Might help. But to an even bigger issue, I fear that everything is starting to pile up. Do you agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that we are out of our depths. I know we have the other pack, and they're doing their best to help in our situation, but we need We need more of us. I'm not saying more here, but we need more allies. We need them. We can't do this alone anymore. I mean, we have who we have, but at some point we're going to have to make amends and reach out more. Artie's done what he can, but I think we all I need to start putting in an effort to get an understanding with others.
Yeah, I think having people or having some sort of allies, even if they don't come here directly, would help. Right now, I've been keeping an eye on forums about the plants, and it looks like someone's deleting messages or any like wild rumors about them that's anything dangerous. Like there is some curbing going on, and it looks like they're not rapidly spreading. So the idea that I guess Vanessa and this Fae are trying to keep it under wraps, even from, I guess, other Pentex groups as well, might be true, which could be a good thing because it might not have spread too far, though it going all the way up to Michigan is kind of weird. But maybe we could check in if you're trying to reach out to other SEPs, like to see if they've had any issues or if it's just us in Michigan.
Yeah, we can do that. I think it's about time maybe we talk to Ravenclaw.
Okay.
Gibbous.
I could probably start with Gibbous. Might be better with her. And then try to work on fixing things with Ravenclaw.
I definitely want to help in that, but knowing your friendship with them, I think it would be reaching out would probably be easier coming from you than from me, especially since kind of the face of the problem, right?
Yeah. Though ultimately she's gonna want some sort of apology, like more than was given at the trial. But yeah, I'll get with Artie because he has a way to contact Gibbous. Otherwise, like Ravenclaw's been pretty kind of like a wall of trying to get through to them. So, but I'll get in touch with Artie and see if I can talk to Gibbous and start communication again.
I'd appreciate that. Aspen will look over and make direct eye contact with Charles. And I need your help. You've been on both sides of this. Been old nation, and now you're a part of new nation. I need to know how to bridge the gap.
Politics. It's no different than it is with humans. The biggest fault we made in the old nation was we forgot that everyone has their own struggles. We forgot that we weren't just one large entity. We forgot how widespread our problems were. We forgot that we were a series of small territories that made up one large group. And our inner struggles broke us apart. My grandfather was overwhelmed with the burden of leadership. It all became too much. He lost hope. if you want to connect to the other septs, the other leaders, you need to show them that there is something to hope for. You need to show them that there is hope in this new nation. And you need to show them that their issues matter, that they matter. You need to connect with them on their level, whatever level that is. That they aren't lesser than or greater than one another. And you need to, this is the most difficult part, you need to get them to recognize that about each other. It's easy enough one-on-one to see that, for you to go down or up to their level, but to get them to rise or fall to another's, that's not as easy. Some septs, more empathetic ones, your children of Gaia, you'll find it a little bit easier with them. But your red talons, not so much. Black Furies, they won't take to the idea of your leadership. They won't take to the idea of anyone's leadership. They certainly didn't take to the idea of my grandfather's leadership after a while.
Okay, question. Because I feel like before we reach out to these other steps, especially about building a new nation, like what is our vision for that? Like, what are we picturing at? Are we seeing it under one leader, like a queen or king, or more of like a council, or like what are we seeing it as? And like, what's obviously the goal is still to save Gaia, but like, how is it going to be different than the old nation? Like, I think we really like need to think on that and come up with like a clear idea that we can talk to them about.
I agree, and I'd prefer to see it like a democracy in a lot of ways. People giving their input and being listened to, and knowing that their voices are being heard. But I think that comes with it as well, is I know everybody will have different opinions, but we need to know what they want to see as well.
You'll also have to appeal to the third of us that is animal, because that part will exist, and that part will come to the surface, especially in matters of conflict. And if they see weakness, even a little, the cracks will form once more. You will have others like Fenris, others who will see weakness and break off for their own agendas once more. That's why Fenris did what they did. While I disagree with their methods, I can't say I don't understand.
Do you think, Charles, you could work with me and we can maybe look at the litany and see how we could make it better for what we want moving forward?
Yes.
I'd
It'll
really
take
appreciate
some
that.
time and some re-education on my part, as that has been quite literally beaten into me most of my life, but yes.
I would really appreciate that.
Might be a good idea.
Change is necessary.
it might be a good idea to bring someone else in besides the two of you. Like, not saying like the two of you like couldn't handle it, but you're both silver fangs, and there is a reputation with silver fangs, especially with people like my tribe and the bone gnarers and a lot of the other ones that, like, even probably the Get or the Shadow Lords. Like, there is a reputation that silver fangs take over, and what they say, they want to go. And like, maybe having other voices that are not of silver fangs on what you want to see and happen in the litany might be a good idea, just to try to get people on. Just saying.
I have no intention of solidifying anything. Just me and Charles. I just thought, since Charles is the most educated out of all of us in this respect, as well as seeing the differences and the changes that we've done here, he'd be the best perspective before we throw it out to the group and have everyone look at it. Because of course I want all of us to look at it, all of us to know before we put that idea out for the rest of the guru to know.
Oh yeah, I get it. I'm just trying to add other perspective that you guys may not see because you are of the same tribe.
Agreed. And we have 2 Ragabash here. 3. 3? 3. So
Yeah.
plenty of 4. 4. We have 4. So plenty of people to give their opinions when it's all said and done.
A thought. There's also Terrence.
And Georgia Sept might be like a good one to reach out to first. They seem to have, with Eliza and Terrence, like they seem to have some better ties or feeling towards Tampa as a whole. So
I agree. I also thought of Duncan as well, but I think Terrence, his fresh eyes would be an interesting perspective as well.
I mean, I know there was talk about having a moot, though that's probably been delayed until at least the Hellhounds get back. But having some sort of preliminary stuff might be good to have to talk to people who come from different seps, at least to start opening conversations up.
The best way to open up conversation is with action, accomplishment. Not to diminish the accomplishments that this sept has made so far. The destruction of Bloody Mary, the upheaval of the Leech Court of Tampa. That's all well and good, but it's been done in many cities, many times. But we have a unique opportunity. The return of a patron spirit, long since believed gone. That is a unique thing. That is an action that Theurge, all across the old nation, will revere. They will make sure that their tribes, their septs, their leadership understand the importance of. The possible return of a tribe of Guru. That is a powerful message. You want to make a statement. You want to broker in a new age. Before even contacting other septs. Have something to offer as a means to opening those conversations, because that's what they're going to ask first when you contact them. Why should I even bother? Why should I answer the call? What have you done for me? They will know your faults. They will know what you've done wrong. Word has undoubtedly spread of the mistakes of this place, more than the accomplishments.
I mean,
But if you have something to herald along with the call, go ahead, Jester.
oh, I was just going to say that, yeah, negative news tends to stick around and travel faster than positive news.
Understood. Then we make a name, as they say, right?
So,
And that's the first step.
so handle the plant problem, bring back a patron, and then start discussion. Well, then bring in people.
Fortunately for us, both seem to be entwined.
They sure do. And that doesn't mean we can't take a look at the litany together while we're working on the plant situation.
No, I think having an idea of what you guys would like or what we would like in the nation will help start conversations and discussions going on. Because usually when you bring something forward or an idea forward, people want to know, like, well, it's your idea. What plans do you have for it? So,
It is best to be prepared.
I agree.
That being said, I had a thought strike me as we were preparing and making considerations for a potential assault on Piney Point. Why does our assault have to be purely physical? Aspen, you have a particular set of skills and a particular career that warrants certain avenues. Piney Point is a facility that has had much legal trouble in the past. Are we certain that the facility that's open there has all the permits required to do what they're doing?
Are you suggesting that I go after them legally, Charles?
I'm suggesting that we tie them up in legal red tape, yes.
I'm so in. It's the best thing you've said all day.
If at least there are eyes on their facility, or at least enough to prompt investigations, to tie them up and cease them from shipping any fertilizer out, or bringing any products in to make further fertilizer, maybe they'll have to cease operations for a while and slow down the spread of what it is that they are producing.
Smart and strong. I knew we kept you around for a reason.
You will be going head to head with Pentex, and they do have a deep pocket of attorneys, but it'll at least see how well the company is aware of what's happening here. From what Lucas has said, this is a secret project that is supposedly off the books. So if the company at large is unaware of it, perhaps they won't back the project. And therefore, you won't have to go head to head with the machine at large.
I'll get right on it.
Meanwhile, we'll take care of the swamp. I'll have to go goulash shopping.
I know some good thrift stores that might have something.
Wonderful. As the trio continue discussing planning and the idea of a new nation, what's going through your heads after this discussion? Jester, we'll start with you.
Kind of glad I have something to focus on. It feels like I've been spinning my wheels a little bit, and though I've been doing a lot, feels like nothing has really progressed, and so I've been stalling out a lot, but focusing on like trying to clean up the swamp and see what the iron does, like, is really like just giving me some inspiration and hope. Um, a little nervous about contacting Gibbous, but I still have been wanting to do that for a while, just to reach out and see how she's doing and really personally apologize to her. So it's kind of in the background of my head, but I'm hopeful.
And Aspen.
With everything going on, it's really difficult to not get discouraged of the one more thing. But having a direction, knowing that it all leads to something that she's really passionate about, which is the new nation and bringing Guru culture back together. It helps to know that all of these things can lead back to that. Also very intriguing, the last idea from Charles, the idea of going after them legally. Aspen will never turn down doing anything in her forte. It's what she loves, and it's a great distraction and potentially a reason to have a ceasefire with Bateman, because in that case he can't get involved and she can write that into the clause as well. So her brain is a lot of different places, but she's got a flicker of hope in her at this point.
With new ideas and a direction to head in, the pack has motivation. We transition now to our next scene. Jace, we're given the task of meeting with the changelings, meeting with Ravi, to discuss everything that's happened, to discuss the encounter with the strange dog-like creatures, who which you had a confrontation and a discussion with, where they demanded you give up the location of the refugees, that they wanted you to stand aside and get out of the way, and that you wouldn't be harmed. Now, this definitely set off some concern for you and concern for them, as Ishu, your ride-along passenger of sorts, had made a deal with you that if you protected the refugees, they would give you access to the dreaming and therefore access to recovering Turtle. So, you now find yourself heading out to the location of the bomb shelter where the refugees are holed up in the middle of the field. What are you doing in preparation to head out to that location?
Making sure that he has a staff, and the road that he's going to take out there, he's going to take a lot of misdirecting turns, trying to make sure that there's no possible way someone could follow him out there. But he's also taking it to try and clear his head, because this fight that he has upcoming, it seems a lot bigger than what he thinks he can handle, or the pack. Just seeing that wolf and what didn't affect it. He was trying to get that. Now he has to go and give this confidence to these people who are terrified. So mentally prepping for what conversation he has to have and making sure that he can give the composure he needs to move forward.
On top of all that, you know in the coming nights you have the rite that is to purge you of the infection and the unknown outcome of what that could mean, which could even mean incapacitation for an unknown period of time, as you are to be quite literally bled dry to remove any toxins from your system and purging this infection to hopefully cleanse you of any poisons and to remove anything that could put you in harm's way or put you in the controlling grasp of the worm. So, go ahead and roll me a wits and either stealth or streetwise as you plan your route and take your route out to the bomb shelter, trying to shake off any tails or watching eyes.
Rage back to 1.
I'll say you're at a rage 2 because you are definitely apprehensive about this whole thing and you're very aware and wary of potential threats. You are going to the outskirts of the city, which is where you've heard these circles of infected mushrooms are.
I did wits and streetwise, and I got 4.
Okay. So with 4 successes, you plotted out a route. You definitely got out a map and GPS and made sure you made a course that was going to take you in roundabout ways and off the beaten path. So as you take the road out, you eventually find your way down that gravel road to the bomb shelter where you see the work lamps erected out in the middle of the field, where the bomb shelter has been dug up and unearthed. As you approach on the motorcycle, roll me a wits and awareness.
Three.
Near the edge of the pit, just outside of the pool of light, you can make out a couple of silhouetted figures just outside of the light. Lookouts, most likely of the refugees, and one of them gives out a call which sounds like an animal call, alerting somebody from within. A moment later, you hear the sound of grinding metal, as if like the turning of a wheel on a locked door, and the swinging open of that big metal heavy door of the bomb shelter. After a moment, as you get closer, into the pool of light comes the small 13 or 14-year-old boy wearing baggy, oversized clothes with really long, sandy blonde hair and a freckled face that you know to be the human embodiment of Ravi, who looks very, very different in the dreaming, and you're still kind of getting used to this physical form of Ravi, who looks like a fully grown adult man in his Fae form, but is just a kid in this incarnation. He raises a hand and this oversized sleeve droops down his arm, and he waves, "Sarah!"
Hey, but I don't know if buddy is a good term. Kid. What's up, man?
Come, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too, and make its way over.
Are you hungry? We have food. We just cooked up
Oh.
beans.
Sure. I'll have a little. I don't want to take too much from you, so I'll have a little.
Nods and waves you over and climbs down a runged ladder into the pit, then heads inside where there is a camp stove, grabs a can of beans and a spoon and walks out and passes it over to you. What news, Sarah? What prompts this visit?
One, I wanted to make sure and see how everybody's doing. Like, you guys getting everything you need? other
Supplies
convenience?
are sparse, but we are making do. We are rationing, as is the custom, but we have enough to get by, and we have received some donations. We go into town and gather some things from the ministries, I believe is the place. There is a food bank there that has been quite generous.
Good, good. I made sure, and from what I could tell, this place seems still pretty secure. Good job with the um people watching out. Uh, I'm glad you guys are doing really well. Have any more shown up?
Alas, no, we have not located any of the others yet, but we are always on the watch, and we have seekers out looking constantly, trying to find any of the others in the area, but we have to expand our search further out. It is always hard to tell unless they have truly become self-aware. They are often hidden.
That makes sense. Okay. Well, that was part of why I've shown up. The other part of it is a few things actually. First, we had a meeting. My people, we had a chat, and my leader had a chat with Ishu.
Father, yes.
Yes. Good terms as far as I can tell, and we're gonna be moving forward with like the understanding that he's going to be using my body, and everyone seems to be on good terms with that. On the flip side of that, I'm going to be out of commission for a little bit. I'm going to be sleeping in a sense. The sickness that is inside of me, trying to get that taken care of. But in order to do that, I don't know how long I'm going to be out. So I don't know how that's going to affect father. So I wanted to give you a heads up on that.
Oh, will you be returning to the dreaming then?
I don't think it's going to be quite like that. This process to get this out of me is going to be really extensive. So my body is going to be in recovery mode for a long time.
Oh, so healing.
Yes. Yeah. It's going to take a long time to heal from getting all of the infection out, the sickness I have to be removed.
Will you be in a chrysalis?
No, I don't believe so.
I don't believe your people have chrysalis. No.
I don't believe we do. It sounds cool, but we don't go into a chrysalis.
No.
I'll probably be in like a bed or a cot with blankets, and that's about as chrysalis as I'm gonna get.
Oh, that's nice. I've been sleeping in a sleeping bag.
Those can be kind of comfy.
Like camping.
Yeah, like camping in a hole, but as
The
long as you're comfy.
unawakened me liked camping.
Oh, well, perfect. Then your body is already attuned to it.
Until he grew out of it. But yes.
That's part of the age. You eventually kind of, I guess, grow back into it, but then your body, it doesn't want to play nice afterwards.
Yes, teenage hormones make one not want to go camping with their parents anymore.
Yeah, you can have that chat. I'm not doing that with you.
I have had that chat many times. Do not worry.
That's right. You've been through this more than a few times, so you are
Yes.
aware. Good. Then birds, bees, and all that kind of stuff you're aware of.
I didn't get to have that chat when I was sent off to the Crusades, so about the same age too. That was a long camping trip.
That's a term for it. Ravi, one day I just want to sit and just listen to all the things that you've experienced when we have more peaceful times.
Of course there are.
Crusades. Cool. Kind of really bad things happen. Anyways, the other side of it is we're needing help, and keeping this place secret is something I agreed with. But one thing is that we're spread really thin, and the amount of plants that are sprouting up, we're having a hard time keeping up with it. Is there any additional information you can give me, or is there anything you guys can do about the plants? Because ripping them out root stem is slow.
It's possible. Our abilities are limited here, but there are some things we can do. Most of our gifts come to us in the dreaming. That is where we are most potent, as we are in our natural forms. But it is possible for us to still be of use. But you must understand, when we interact with these creations or anything involved, we expose ourselves to the creator. We expose ourselves to the one who manifested them. Therefore, they become aware of us. So we are putting ourselves at great risk to do so. But you are doing us a great service, Sarah, and we are not taking that for granted. I will talk to the others, and I will see what we can do. And I will most certainly say for myself, you have my help. You have been nothing but kind to me, and you have done all that I have asked and then some. And the fact that you carry my father with you is a great boon to me and my family. But there are others who are much more frail here and would have a much harder time assisting in this world. But I am youthful enough in this body, much more capable. I can help, but I will see what the others can offer and how much aid they can give. If nothing else, I will gather together what information we can about Valor and what glamour he uses.
Good. I really appreciate. Again, I don't want to put you guys out. It's just we're spread so thin. And
We have put you out, Sarah, a great deal. Even with our father using your physical form, I know that must be greatly inconvenient for you. So the least we can do is offer some sort of aid in return.
Thank you. The issue that here's something. I've been doing some practicing, some training with one of our great warriors, and on one of these trips, we were taking care of some of the monstrosities, those the creatures with the plants and the mushrooms growing on them. Relatively easy enough. He did most of the work. By most, he did all. But at the end,
The Famor.
Yeah, exactly those. Is there anything about? Do you know anything about a big wolf, like covered in, made of plants, made of the earth itself?
Yes.
Okay. Everything we tried that we saw that with the Famor, how to take care of them, didn't work with this. There's nothing we could do to combat it. With the Famor, we noticed that fire works really well. Overall, just rending them to nothing. As long as they burn, it's taken care of. This, the fire did nothing. And it's fast and it's big. So and they're saying that the iron, the suggestion that's been brought up about just iron, that's kind of where we're leaning. But is there anything else that you know that how to combat this thing?
Unfortunately, Sarah, iron is the answer. You will need a great iron spear or stake, and you will need to drive it into the core of the creature. Fire will be ineffective. You may be able to rend it, but it will regrow. It is a construct. It is soulless, mindless. It does what it is bid, and only what it is bid. It cannot be manipulated, it cannot be controlled. It cannot be swayed. It will grow and regrow at rapid rates. And until you devastate and destroy the core, it will fight on.
Does the core split? So first time it was a really big wolf, easily over 10 feet, maybe even 15. The other time we ran into it, it was split into several different wolves. Is the core always going to be in one, or will it be split in between all of them if they become separated?
It will be in one, but it will change which one. So it will be at random. Your odds of picking the right one will vary.
There's no real easier
There's
way
no
to,
way to tell.
So either one big spear or stake or several.
It has to be sizable. It has to be a sizable concentrate of iron to devastate the core.
Okay. But it's been done before.
It's been theorized.
Charles is going to love my theory. Okay. No, that
There's a
at least
reason we're running, Sarah.
I get it. After seeing I get it. I'm still scared of that thing. So no, I understand.
It is meant to destroy anything in its path and then grab those of us that it finds and return us to its master.
When I looked to I can what we call is the umbra. I can look to the other side and see it. There's things that manifest on the other side. This was almost like strings. It wasn't there. It was only here. If those strings were cut, theoretically, the overall control of those things would be done.
It would likely return to the realm from whence it came. It was summoned. It was brought over. So if you were to destroy what summoned it, it is perhaps the ability to send it back. It would not destroy it, but it would return it. It is likely connecting it to wherever it came from, the origin point from where it crossed over. your people have been known to wander the other side with leads similar to this. Tethers, if you will.
Gotcha. Okay. I'll pass on this information. This is very helpful. You guys
Wish it
wouldn't
could be
happen to
more
have-
helpful, Sarah.
You wouldn't happen to have extra iron just laying around, would you? Just spitballing. No? All right.
We tend to avoid iron at all costs.
I figured. That's why I was shot in the dark.
You don't exactly keep a bunch of silver hanging around, do you?
Well, you see, kinda, but that's more because we use it to combat different things. There's more silver around than you would think there should be.
Well, iron's not exactly readily available.
No, it is not. You're absolutely right. Well, those are I've asked you a lot of the things that I need. Do you need anything additional?
We could always use more food, more supplies, but honestly, just the secrecy and protection is always good. I will see what I can do in terms of information, and if you let us know locations of these infections or plants, I'll see what I can do about gathering a group of people together to go investigate and remove.
Okay. I can I'll get you in contact with someone who will be able to do that. Charles, the one I've mentioned, he's kind of the head of that, where he like leads the expeditions to go do these different things. He's really intense, and he doesn't really like outside. Actually, I'm gonna get you with someone else. I might be Jester, might be a better bet. She's much nicer, still intense, but much kinder.
Does she
and
like
understanding.
jokes?
You know what? Yeah, and practical jokes. If you can just prank the crap out of her, she'll love it.
And Charlie does not.
No, No, don't and don't call him Charlie. If you like this being in this body, don't call him Charlie.
It takes a long time to get another body, and I have to forget for many years, so I prefer not to.
Yeah, for the betterment of that, Charles or Mr. Albrecht, either one, never Charlie.
Very well, Sarah.
I will. I'm still trying to get a way to try and get food out here without giving you guys away.
We
But as soon
understand.
as I can figure that out, I'll get some out here. Something other than beans. I'll get some more non-perishables, but I'll see what I can do about that. Some bottled water and things along those lines, just so a little more comfortable for you. Maybe some cots and things like that.
We don't mind being Sarah.
That's good, because it seems that's all you guys have right now. So I'll see what I can do about get that taken care of. I'll try to do that before I'm.
We also have
leaving.
spam.
If you enjoy the spam, go ahead. You can eat all of it. Eat as much as you can.
Perhaps. I have not found myself fond of the spam.
Canned meat in general, it's not great.
I like hot dogs, but I've always found myself in an excess of buns.
Yeah, they don't sell them correctly. They purposely do that so you have to buy additional buns. They do that with hamburger too.
Don't understand.
As far as funding to buy things, I know you're going to the mission and they're giving you food. As far as funding, are you doing okay? Do you need more money? All you have to do, you only have to ask. Like, just if you're short, just let me know.
We're okay, Sarah. We appreciate your generosity. What you have done for us in terms of secrecy is more than enough. We will find a way to get the funds we need and the food we need. Anything you can offer is very generous, but we have survived in the past. We will survive in the future.
We'll do the best we can to make sure that happens. Okay. One last thing.
Of course.
The other changing breeds, things along those lines. Any interaction with them? Good, bad?
We have not directly interacted with the changing breeds in a long time. In fact, you have been the most direct interaction we have had in many ages. It was a surprise when you came directly to us.
Well, to be fair, you weren't what I expected either.
That is fair.
I just want to make sure that I don't put you guys in further danger if something were to come up, and your overall presence being known. I don't want to put you guys in more danger than you're already in. So if you haven't had interactions, I'm just going to keep it quiet and I'll let everyone else know. Just
Understood.
to keep you just out of it for the time being.
We have never had ill will towards the other changing breeds, and nor have they had ill will towards us in our histories, other than the sundering that separated us, but I don't see any reason there should be alarm. But if you preach caution, we will acknowledge it.
Caution's kind of the current state of being. I'd just stay until you hear otherwise.
Of course.
All right, Ravi, I just wanted to get that. I have other things I have to prep for.
Yes, please. And please be well. Heal quickly. Whatever procedure you're going through. It's not chicken pox, is it? I've already had it. Again.
No. Unfortunately, it's worse. But I'm in good hands. So the people going to be taking care of me. Swear that this is 90% going to work.
It's not plague.
I don't know if you'd classify this as plague. Not enough people have really gotten it. It's an ailment that has that I'm going through.
Are you vaccinated? I've heard they've stopped doing that.
I'm up to date on all current ones. Unfortunately, we just don't have one for this.
Good. I don't know why they stopped. That is very foolish.
Current people that shouldn't have. That's a different conversation for a different time. But I agree. It is.
If you have something that fixes something or prevents bad things, why would you just be like, no?
Because
it's like not wearing sunblock, but then standing in the sun.
Correct. Yeah. Common sense isn't common. That's just how it came down. Just dumb people with dumb power.
Fair enough. Well, yes, please be safe and heal quickly.
I will. He'll go to shake his hand and nice crisp high five. All right. You take care. You'll turn around.
You as well. As you climb out of the pit and return to your motorcycle, what's going through your mind after this conversation with Ravi?
Feeling a little more comfortable talking to Ravi at times. There are things that he says that Jace is on a train of thought, and then he says something like, "Oh, Crusades." But that's just his intellectual mind. He just like starts spinning. But the connection that's building there is getting stronger. But he is very worried about their only eating beings. They're sleeping in sleeping bags, and he's worried that they won't be able to see Ishu if Jace is in recovery mode. His body's going to be broken. It won't be able to be in use, and that's its whole purpose for Ishu is to have a body to use. So that puts them away from someone that they revere and almost look like they need for overall guidance. So there's that aspect. And he's scared for the procedure, but he knows it needs to be done.
So as you mount the motorcycle, start up the engine, and begin to drive away, roll me another wits and awareness.
Rage still 2.
Rage is still 2.
5.
As you're riding, sound of the motor kicking up. Out of the corner of your eye, in the open sky up above, as you're in an open field and there's no trees, you see the flitting of motion pass by the moon. And you look up above to see a bat flittering around up above in the sky, almost like circling for a moment before it goes kind of chasing off and dive bombing after some bugs in the field.
Okay. Then notate that. Then
Drive off. With all these changing breeds being drawn to the cairn, paranoia starts to mount. Every animal you pass could be something more. And with that theurge sense especially, you know everything has a spirit. Everything has a little extra. Could it be a changing breed, or is it just a bat? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. We transition now to the final scene of the first half of tonight's story. Lucas, you are out in the bawn of the cairn, walking with Charles, inspecting the fortifications that you've erected. Now you have done the rite of the shrouded glen, which helps obscure the cairn, helps it stay hidden. But for some reason, these changing breeds have been finding the cairn with little difficulty. At least the Mokale did. It just walked right in with no issues. And that has sent Charles on high alert. It was bad enough when Ishu, the Fae, inhabited Jace with no difficulty, but at least that could be explained with a magical stick that was apparently a two-way gateway to possession. But now a big gator just waltzes in. This cannot stand. Something has to be done. So as the keeper of the land and the warder, it's your responsibilities to ensure the safety of the cairn. So as you have walked the perimeter, looking to the cables and netting that you have hung within the trees, to the various fortifications that you have erected, the scene is yours.
Lucas will put his hands on his hips as he stands up after checking out one of the little mini spirit houses that he has strategically placed all around the perimeter of the cairn that are to attract confusion spirits that whenever the cables and the nets touch something, releases them and they go have their little fun with people until they go somewhere else. He just shakes his head and looks over at Charles. No, this is the last one. It's not even disturbed. Nothing.
Doesn't make sense. Why are they being called here? It's not even their cairn.
I mean, let's be realistic here. We jumped into this pretty quickly. We didn't know everything about this place. And now we're paying for it.
I have come around to accepting and even trusting Eliza, but this is one of the downsides of getting into bed with stargazers. There's always something else. There's always a little bit more. And I think even she was unaware of the potential consequences of this action.
Yeah, we like to call ourselves, 1/3 animal, 1/3 human, 1/3 spirit. I think she's just, 90% spirit, 5% human, and 5% wolf.
Agreed. Regardless, if we're going to be having other visitors, something has to be done. What can you tell me about the bats that I don't already know? You have to have some insight into your tribe's history with them.
Lucas will kind of stare at him for a second and subconsciously tap the top of his clave. Shuttlers don't really care about anything but two of the Farah. The first one were the birds, and they said, keep them at arm's length, but you can learn a lot from them. I mean, they're crows. We follow thunder. There's an affinity there, but they're just as disconnected as the rest of them are. But there were plenty of stories about the bats and our particular difficulties and dealings with them. What I was told, it started during the War of Rage, and the Kemazats, we didn't call them that during that time frame. We called them something else. We associated them with the leeches, specifically the leeches of Eastern Europe. And it's said they practice a form of blood magic like we do. And they were tied. So to secure ourselves and to secure our packs and our seps and our tribes' future, we did the dirty work for everybody else. And we wiped them out to the last one there. Well, we thought Bat was over. We thought they were gone. The War of Rage came to a close. Nobody really talked about it. It wasn't until we found there were more here several hundred years ago, when the mixing of the pure tribes here and the other tribes started to happen, that we found more. And so we did what we do. We didn't ask for permission. We didn't ask for forgiveness either. We did it again. We wiped them out. This time, we told ourselves it was justified because Bat had turned. And maybe it's because of what we did. I don't know. But Bat had turned, and how could they not have also turned? How could they not be just like the dancers? Corrupted. Using blood. But I guess we weren't thorough. Maybe that's a good thing.
I don't know anymore. Be honest with you, Lucas. In times like this, I think, was it a mistake? Yes, because it's just another problem for us to deal with, right?
Yeah.
But also, had it been thorough, it wouldn't be. But then, I also think, had it not happened at all, maybe we would have won this war a long time ago. And there wouldn't have been a need for all of us to be still fighting. Maybe we'd all be living peacefully. Maybe Gaia would be thriving. Maybe all the changing breeds would be living in harmony. And there wouldn't be talks of corruption and the worm. Maybe everything would be in its balance.
I want to be so fucking mad at them. That's my problem. Is I get it. I get why they're upset. I get it. I understand it. They got hit. They got knocked down. But they've just been sitting around and doing nothing. While we're the ones dying all the time. And that's the part that pisses me off. But sit in your swamp or wherever the fuck it is that you go and just sit there.
Can you blame them? After watching us kill them for so long? It's almost like karma.
Yeah.
Besides, what's to say that if they stuck their head out and helped, we wouldn't just turn and kill them again? We're already talking about it now. Out of fear, out of concern, out of paranoia. Luckily, we have minds like Jester and Aspen and even Eliza who think that there are other options, other possibilities. Because in my old mind, before this nation, before meeting these individuals, I wouldn't have hesitated. Because that's what I was taught to do. And I'm sure you would have too.
Oh, yeah, in a heartbeat. Without any hesitation.
But we need to break that mindset. And unless they give us no other choice, we have to think differently. or else this war's lost.
Yeah. Well, that's like I said, everything in my mind screams that direction, but I know, well, because it's been around Eliza and Aspen, and Jester, and everyone else too long that I can't fully listen to it anymore. That all the hate and the idea that someone has to subjugate someone else is not, that's not going to win us anything. It'll win me something, but it's not going to win us anything. And that's what I'm slowly coming to realize.
You're telling me I have to share an apartment with a Black Fury, and I can't tell her to clean up after herself.
Oh, no.
Well, I can. She just ignores me most of the time.
That sounds about right. Do you have a maid?
Twice a week.
I knew it.
It was
Knew
once
it.
a week before she moved in.
That's a good call. That's a super good call. I can only imagine what the shower looks like.
I understand that impulse. Most likely better than anyone else here. And though I'm not the best at talking, I can listen. So if you ever do need to talk about it, I will listen at the very least. Because there was nothing more that I wanted than to see that thing turn into a dragon and see what it would be like to fight a dragon. I've never had that experience. And now I want it more than most things.
So, that would make such a good story. Oh my god, that would make such a good story.
Imagine going to a moot with that story.
Oh yeah, that's a good same mindset. Like, oh, you fought that? Oh, that's super cute.
Most of
Listen
these
to what
pups
she's
don't
gonna
even
say.
believe those exist anymore.
Yeah, sending them away right now was an awful idea because they're never gonna believe a word when they get back. But I didn't think that I would accept that offer at some point from a Silver Fang, but I appreciate it.
I never think I'd make that offer to a Shadow Lord.
Yeah, well, like a bad rash. When we get in there, we don't get out.
Indeed.
All right, so nothing's disturbed around here.
No. But we need to talk to the spirits of the cairn itself. We need to at least learn the stories of this place. We need to learn their history with these changing breeds. We need to learn what connections they have so that we can prepare ourselves for what we're going to face. If we know their stories when they arrive, if we can recount some of their history to them, it shows that we've done our homework. It shows that we're aware. If we act like we're strangers to this place, it gives them all more reason to not trust us, more reason to be offended by us being here. She who shines seemed to be offended, like we were intruding when she arrived. We need to give them less reason to think that we took this place, more like we were welcomed here.
I've only done the tree thing the one time. Jester showed me more or less how to do it, but what it showed was not anything to do with the Farah, but it was an interesting piece of information about this lost tribe. And they were pretty arrogant, and they didn't want to ask anybody else for help. Now, if they're the ones that built this place, maybe they didn't ask for anybody else's help because they already had some help. Or maybe it was somebody else that arranged for help even if they didn't want it.
Can't imagine why it showed you that story.
It showed Jester too. You spread the love around, all right?
Perhaps if you go to it with a specific question, it will have a specific answer. Eliza had said something about it shows you what you need to see. Now that you need something, perhaps it will show you.
Well, we're at a dead end here. It's worth a shot. I mean, if you're ready, if you want to do it.
Oh no.
I knew you'd weasel your way out of it.
I need to have a clear head if I'm going to be expecting a fight anytime soon. I don't need to be entangling my mind with the minds of long dead guru.
All right. Okay, all right. We can go do this. I think yeah, it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. Maybe it'll be fine. All right, yeah, let's go do this.
Lead the way.
Head off towards the grove.
As you move and return towards the center of the cairn, moving towards the clearing, you reach the center of the cairn proper, the ring of trees around the outside of the clearing. There doesn't appear to be a specific tree in particular that calls to you in any form. But you do end up picking one and moving over to it. And as you do reach the base of the tree, you look up, following your eyes up into the branches, and you can see up in the branches itself that there are kind of hollowed out divots within the branches, within the base of the tree, as if there are like holes in the base. Like little dens. Maybe birds?
Does it say, do they look man-made?
No. They look old, though. Very, very old. And they've grown with time with the tree.
Are they close enough together to make it where, like, you could put more than one finger in them, or is it just...
They're big. They're probably about the size of, you know, a coconut, almost.
I will kind of...
Now, they're high up. I will say they're high up in the tree. They're probably about 10 or so feet off the ground.
All right. Charles, I swear to God, if I fall while I'm trying to get up there and you tell anybody...
I'll be here to catch you, Buttercup.
Oh my God. No, just let me hit the ground. Don't catch me. I'll take it.
As you wish.
All right, I'll try to start climbing the tree.
Okay, roll me a strength and athletics.
Four successes.
Okay, yeah, easily enough. You scale the tree. You actually end up having to take off a belt and kind of swing it around and scale the tree that way, as it's not a lot of branches near the bottom. But as you get up higher, you do end up finding some branches to grab and scale up. Eventually, you get up and you see that there's several of these divots higher up in the tree as you get above the branch line. But as you get to one of the lower ones, what do you want to do?
You will kind of stare at it for a second, then look down, shake his head, and then he'll place his hand inside of it slowly.
Okay. As you reach in, you start feeling around. Roll me a wits and investigation.
Or with a crit.
Okay. Feeling around. At first, you feel just crunchy old leaves. And then you find something hard buried within the leaves. Wrapping your fingers around, you slowly remove the object. And as you unfurl it, you find in your palm a very tiny, very frail, almost fossilized skull. Roll me a intelligence and science to try and identify the skull.
Okay. Two.
Okay. It has several broken teeth, and it's kind of got an angular face with an elongated snout. It's only a couple of inches long, and it's hard to place it at first, maybe because it is fossilized and it's been a long time that it's been in this tree, so it's weathered with age. But as you're studying it, your vision suddenly goes very dark, almost completely black. You then hear the sound of wind, like hollow wind, echoing off of stone walls. You hear the sound of water dripping off of a stone floor. You blink a few times and let your eyes adjust. And eventually, your vision takes. And you can start to make out the details of the deep and massive cavern you find yourself in. There are pools of water, little streams running past in the cavern. You hear squeaks and little chirps and chattering up above. And you see dozens of bats clinging to the ceiling up above. You're taken aback, your breath catching in your throat, not out of fear, but out of the sheer awe of it all. You know why you're here. You know why you were brought here. This is what you do. This is your specialty. Building these places, constructing these places. It's been your job. It's been the job of your ancestors. It's been a job you were trained in, taught in by your family. Turtle graced you with this gift. And when your child comes of age, you will grace them with this gift. Because you are a family of builders. So you were sent here to help them build, to create a place for them. And this is the place they have picked. This cavern. Deep, deep underground. It's a special place, a powerful place. You can feel the power pulsating within it. Now, after everything that's happened, after the bloody history that has happened, it's the least your people can do. But you're making right. You're making good. You know that that war was for nothing. It was wrong. And while there's talk of potential Eastern invaders on the horizon, this land is still pure. This land is still clean. And you're going to keep it that way as long as possible. You're going to keep it peaceful. So you will construct a place for them here. You will make it strong. You will make it powerful. Looking over to the tunnels that head off in various directions, you can see the reflective eyes of much larger individuals. Bats the size of men, watching. They're wary, to be sure, cautious. And you can't blame them. They have every reason to fear your people. That's why you came alone. To give them something to trust, to believe in. Something not to be afraid of. And as their leader steps forward, in the form of a human, wearing only a loincloth, bearing scarred markings all across their torso and arms. Their head shaved on both sides except for a single line of hair down the middle. Their eyes wide and aware, completely white except for black pupils in the center. They address you. They bring you in and gesture you towards the center point, beckoning you to start work. And work you will. For this is the place they have chosen. This is where you will build. This is how you will honor your agreement. This is how you will honor Turtle. This is how you will honor your family. And with that, the darkness of the cave swallows you once more. With the darkness comes dizziness. Roll me a dexterity and athletics to prevent yourself from falling from the tree.
Three successes.
You are able to kind of catch yourself before you slide off of the branch, and you are able to keep hold of the bat skull in your hand. The memory of this particular skull, a messenger bat, not an enemy, a friend. A friend who was buried here, memorialized here, revered here, and who still remains here.
Lucas will look at the skull for a moment and then reach back in and set it back down in there in the hole and make sure the leaves are back on top of it. And then he'll carefully, although a little shakily, make his way back down to the ground. He gets down to the ground, he'll kind of like squat down, put one of his hands on the dirt, look up at Charles. I know why they're coming.
And?
The tribe, Turtle's tribe, was trying to repay the nation's debts. It built their cairns for them. It gave them places to live and to hide and to be close to Gaia. And I think they're coming back to repay that favor.
Let's hope so.
Sorry, it's weird.
Now you can see why I didn't want to do it.
I mean, you still should at some point. But
once this plant business is done, perhaps.
It's fair. I think if Turtles is prolific as we think it is, we could expect a lot.
And I'm glad there's only, 7 of us here?
I mean, Vision didn't say anything about timing, but that's fair.
Hopefully we have time for the others to return.
Yeah, I gotta tell Aspen about this, and maybe Eliza. Whew.
Well, hopefully we'll have some time before Jace's surgery.
Oh, yeah. I gotta get tarps. Okay.
Take some time to rest. I'll get a shopping list together while you get a reprieve.
Thank you. Yeah, tarps and masks, and give me some high shoes too.
Very well.
Thank you.
Charles takes you over to your constructed workshop before getting a list together and heading off to get the supplies. As you lay down the memories of the cave and the bats swimming through your head, what else are you thinking after that vision and conversation?
Lucas keeps being shown the things about this tribe that builds things, and he is the one here building. Now there's actual building and there's metaphorical building, and he gets that, but he's starting to wonder if he has more in common with these other Guru that he does with the rest of the Shadow Lords. And that's a thought that bothers him, because being a Shadow Lord has always been his whole identity. But building things is also something he has always loved too. So he's in a bit of a conflict.
In the world of modern Guru, you aren't born to a tribe. You choose a tribe, just as much as a tribe chooses you. But what if the tribe you were meant for wasn't available at the time? But what if it suddenly became available? Are you still spoken for? Or are you going to make a change? We now take a 5 or 7 minute break. We'll be back with the second half of tonight's story. See you shortly.
St. Petersburg by Night is brought to you through collaboration with our partnered vendors, Chromatic Creations, Panchi Artista, Ember Fox Dice, Devlin the Bard, Champs Tramps, Howlin' Hop Tea. Links to our partnered vendors as well as our Twitch and YouTube channels can be found on our website, stpetebynight.com. You can follow SPbN on all socials with the hashtag StPeteByNight. If you wish to support our program, you can do so at ko-fi.com/stpetebynight to help keep the stories rolling.
Welcome back. As we return in the second half, we find the pack gathered at the cairn. It is the dead of night, nearing the witching hour, nearing the middle of the night. Eliza has planned it as such so that the moon is high in the sky, so that the light of the moon will shine down upon this hallowed ground, upon the ritual site, where this rite will take place, where this cleansing of toxins, this purge, will happen. However, in preparation for the ritual, you have some time to discuss and prepare. So as Eliza has laid out the location, she's rolled out a specific mat, a crocheted blanket that she has prepared. She has various ritualistic implements, but what stands out is a series of tools, all of them seemingly made of silver, that she has placed off to one side. She also has various medical implements, including tubes and suction, like cups or kind of squeezing implements that'll help suck blood out manually rather than any kind of machines. And she has a pan to drain fluids into. She also has seemingly chains and shackles on standby, ready, that she has secured into the ground, that she has dug posts into. But with everything getting prepared, the scene is yours.
Some big posts.
Yeah, we're gonna need him.
The chains necessary too?
It's 7-8 foot killing machine.
It's really a precaution, just in case things start to go bad. I don't think they'll be necessary. I trust that you will be able to stay centered. I have Jester prepared to sing a song that should hopefully soothe and make this process easier, but as I warned you, Jace, you are going to experience a great deal of pain, both mental and physical, and it is going to push you to your very limits, and a guru pushed to their limits is at risk of losing control, and should you do so, and your more bestial side take over, we need to make sure that we can keep you stable and still for this process. Now, we do have a lot of capable and strong hands here, just in case things do go that way, but I'd prefer that we also have other options rather than putting others in harm's way.
Normally you're more comforting than that, but I appreciate the sentiment.
Well, I gave you weeks of comfort leading up to this.
You're right, you did.
It's game time, buddy.
Well, walk forward to step beside Jace. So, not would like any like meditation or anything help for him, maybe like before going into it?
Certainly. Anything that you think would help slow your heart rate, would help center yourself, soothe your mind, steady your breathing. You're going to want to stay as calm as possible during this process.
I'll do what you guys tell me to. Slowing the heart makes sense. Before we move forward though, couple things that I want to get out there. One, I went and talked to Ravi and got that squared away. They're willing to help with the plants. Now, while I'm out, we'll look towards Charles. Brought you up, decided that was not going to be best. Look back to Jester. If you'd be willing to assist them with the plant thing and possibly going out and showing them the different areas, they said they'd be willing to do what they can to try and help. Robbie's got to talk to the other guys and other people there, but at least he is willing to assist. But he is exposing himself being out there doing this. So additional assistance is kind of what they're looking at.
Okay, yeah, I'd be happy to help them. Is there like I don't know how long you're gonna be out of commission, so how do I get in contact with them? Or them get in contact with me?
So he'll pull out his phone and then we'll give Ravi his number. So this is his number. Now, he's going to look young, like 13, 14. But he's lived hundreds of lives or something like that. So everything he says has some form of wisdom to it. It's just weird coming out of a 13-year-old.
Okay, yeah, that I could see how it might be weird. I mean, I've heard some great wisdom from kids before, but
Yeah.
not like many lifetimes of wisdom. So
He brought up the Crusades, but that's a different conversation. Yeah. Also,
cool.
look back towards Charles. Give you props. You were right about the big wolf thing. Talk to Ravi. That big spear idea. It's the only way to take care of it. Now, when it splits up like it does, there is a core, but only one of those will have it. But there's no way to determine which one, and it switches. So there's that aspect. So when it's in its biggest form, it's going to be easier to know that's the one. But if it splits up, there's no way to determine where it's going.
Wonderful. A shell game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I did ask about iron. I knew that it was a long shot. They said they don't tend to keep things that hurt them nearby. Then he'll eye all the silver. Then they said that asked if we do, but I told them we keep more nearby than away most of the time. So that's
Eliza speaks up, well, they're less likely to combat their own, I believe, so that makes sense.
they're a pretty unified group. So
We are a bunch of murder hobos.
It's a super good word for it. Yep.
well, some of us are more murderous than others, but yeah.
And some more hobo than other.
You're right. I got nothing for that.
Okay,
well done.
remember. Today we're supposed to make Jace feel calm, not piss him off.
Oh, I can totally help with that. I got some good news.
Okay.
Aspen, you're gonna want to hear this too. I figured out why the Pharaoh are coming.
Okay.
He'll look over at Jester, back at everyone. I went to go talk to one of the trees, and they showed me something. The tribe, Turtle's tribe, the one that was here before, the ones that build cairns, they were building cairns for the other Pharaoh here. From what I gather and what it felt like, all of them. So they were trying to do something to make up for the bullshit we got ourselves in. And so what we might be looking at is the Pharaoh coming back here to pay back what they did for them. And that could be kicking invaders out, which they might see us as. But if we can get them to accept us, then it's a step.
Okay. Yeah, we'll hold on to that, and when it comes to that, we'll take care of it, and we'll figure out a way to talk to them when it comes to that. Jace, is there anything you need before we do this?
You called me Jace. No. We're good.
Okay.
One more thing, I guess, if we're talking before this all happens. Charles and I are gonna go try to deal with the swamp for the Mokale. Gonna need the iron knife. I want to test it on the plants.
The one that me and Eliza found?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to test the iron on the plants and see what happens.
Yeah, sure.
think it's a good idea.
As for, and Artie speaks up at this point, as for preparations, just in case this takes you out of commission for a little while, I have got some things in place to set up a wireless security system at your bar so that we can keep eyes on it with cameras while you're asleep remotely, just in case you're out for a little while. If you're not, you'll be able to watch it anyway. I'll give you the login for it. So when you're off doing guru stuff, you can at least check in on it and make sure the place is safe. But figure in case we can't be there at all times, we can at least keep eyes on it from time to time just to make sure it's okay. But I set up a few wireless cameras out there and a login so that we could look in remotely just to make sure it's cool. Well, we're not tending bar and stuff there, but I know you don't got a lot of employees out there right now. So just wanted to let you know that that's all taken care of and watched after for the moment.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's leaving some stress.
Yeah.
Jace, you want me to send some of the howlers out there?
I mean, I'll be out there too. Like, yeah, I'm taking up more shifts while you're gone. So
if whoever you trust, I'm fine with that.
Club's got it. We'll take care of you, man.
yeah.
It's my second baby. To please, take care of it.
We'll make sure it's okay.
All right. Well, before we get started, I think it would be best if you set aside the staff, because I don't know what issue will try to do. If this process starts to get painful for you, he may try to protect you, even if out of instinct. So I want to take any protective measures to stop the infection or to block the infection out of the way for the time being. I'll make sure it's by your side again, even if you are unconscious, so that there is no break in the connection for too long. I'm not going to hand it over to anybody else, but I just want to make sure we not have it in your possession or in your body while we're doing this, just so that's not getting in the way of the ritual while we're trying to purge this toxin. Because again, just like Charles says with the plants, if even a little bit of it is still in you, we run the risk of it potentially just spreading again, and this will have all been for nothing, and you'll be in a world of pain for no reason.
Yeah. You'll take the staff and gently just kind of set it on the ground.
As you put the staff off to the side, you don't feel any different. You've set it down before, even like when going to bed. Nothing seems unusual in the process of doing so. Eliza leads you over to the blanket, has you lay down, pulls off your shirt. All right. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Think of a time when you felt most connected to Gaia. Think of a time when you felt pure and clean. Think of a time when you felt at peace. Think of a time when you felt whole. When you felt yourself. What do you see?
I see I see a bar, oddly enough. But it's not mine, but it's one with all the grew that I hold dear. It's calm.
Describe it to me.
It's rickety. Boards on the windows. The bar itself is looks like a piece of plywood just kind of nailed down. Tables are shoddy workmanship, but they're sturdy enough. The bar's got all different kinds of liquor. Everyone's sitting around having a good time. It's like a moot within a bar.
Who do you see there?
champagne. I see my old pack and I see all of you. I see old faces and the new ones that I've met here. Everyone's getting along. No issues at all. A lot of laughs, some tears, but they're happy ones.
Go ahead and roll me a stamina and resolve.
Rage 2 still?
2, yeah.
Okay. Three.
Okay. As you're looking around the vision in your mind, looking at all the faces and the figures, it's a crowd, a sea of people. And then you notice another face amidst the sea. A hooded figure amidst the crowd at the very back of the sea of faces. The hood is drawn so far over that you can't see their face. But as you try to look, the hood raises and you see the glowing green eyes from beneath the hood. And everything starts to take a yellowish hue as they make eye contact with you. As the yellow starts to seep in, one of their eyes turns from green to red. What do you do?
First try and subconscious kind of shake it off. Her still being there. Eliza, there's someone I don't recognize here. Their eyes are familiar though.
All right, Jace. I want you to focus on that. To everyone else, you see Eliza has reached for one of the silver scalpels and has now moved towards one of Jace's arms and has taken the scalpel and has started to lower it towards his arm. She looks towards Lucas, kind of gesturing towards his arm to help secure it and hold it straight. And as she does so, she sticks the scalpel into his arm and starts drawing it down along his arm. Take a point of aggravated damage as it sticks in and starts to burn and sear as it draws along your flesh. Make a composure and resolve check.
I'm going to shift to Galabro. Good on the rage check.
4 with a crit.
Okay. So you are able to maintain, although the pain is agonizing as you feel it stick into your arm, but you are able to stay in that room. You are able to stay focused on the individual at the back of the bar across the sea of faces. The yellow haze is still kind of blurring, covering the room, but you can feel that burning in your arm In fact, for a moment, you break eye contact with the man looking down at your arm. Even in your vision, you can see a searing, almost red-hot flame starting to burn into the arm of your vision as a line starts to crawl across your arm. Eliza has started murmuring beneath her breath, only stopping to talk, but she's murmuring almost an incantation or in a language that sounds tribal, but is hard to understand as she speaks and draws the blade along his arm. Red blood starts to well at his arm as she reaches over towards one of the tubes and airbags and starts to pump at the blood, pulling and drawing it from his arm. All right, Jace. I want you to go towards them. Make your way towards this individual in the crowd. Find them.
Look down at his arm with the red line. Pump his hand a couple times, try and shake off the pain, and walk towards the entity.
As you are pushing through the crowd, I want you to make another stamina and resolve check. Oh, I'm sorry, your rage goes up to 3, by the way, too, from the first aggravated point of damage.
Yep. Stamina and resolve?
Stamina and resolve. As the infection is growing, you're getting more feverish.
Is it possible to burn a will during?
It is, absolutely.
Okay. One.
Okay. You try to will yourself forward towards the man, but it feels, or towards the individual, but you feel like you are walking in a bog in mud. Almost like this yellow haze is like a thick, almost mucus that you can't pull yourself through. So while you are inching forwards, it's a gradual and slow inching, like you're not making nearly enough progress as you would like to. Looking around, you take in the faces of your friends and your companions, and something in their faces has started to change. The faces of your friends, of your pack, of your companions have started to distort as growths start to appear out of the side of their faces. Some of their faces start to melt away. Some of them, their jaws are starting to melt off. Their throats are starting to enlarge. Some of them, their bellies are starting to enlarge as they start to take on the shapes of some of the infected creatures that you've encountered, still bearing the likenesses of your pack mates and friends. But they are starting to become infected themselves. I need you to make another composure and resolve check.
What does it look like to us that, like, is his expression changing?
He is, yeah. You can see he's wincing and, like, his brow is creasing.
Okay. I would like
It's hard to tell if it's out of pain or duress, mental duress at the time, though.
Well, either way, I'd like to start humming a song, like, kind of in harmony with the cadence of Eliza's chanting.
Okay.
And, like, kind of a soothing song, really, to try to help maybe keep him calm.
Okay. With that, I'll give you an extra die on your roll there. So you can roll one more die.
Is it possible with my pack instincts for me to hone in on Jace specifically and get like an idea of like his health boxes and stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Still 3.
Okay. So with that, take 2 points of aggravated willpower damage as you look upon your infected packmates and friends as they are starting to grow distorted and infected, especially the ones you considered family, your old tribe, especially Olivia and Firebrand. All of your old pack growing grotesque and distorted. At that point, you feel your opposite arm start to burn as Eliza sticks the needle in, or sticks the scalpel in the other arm and starts to draw the blade down. Take another aggravated health damage as she starts to draw the blade along your arm.
Walking up towards the person in the hood, more shouting towards them. You don't need to do this to them. Just take me. You already got me. You don't need them.
Give me another composure and resolve.
Does he still get the extra die?
You do get the extra die from Jester singing, yes.
Down to 5.
Okay. So I will say that you are able to keep your cool, so your rage stays the same. You are going to stay at 3 rage. You are not going to go up from the additional burning of the silver entering in and cutting your flesh. You are still slow, so you're not getting closer to them at any faster rate. Make me another stamina and resolve as the infection is really starting to burn. He is getting really hot. You are starting to see sweat forming as he is growing feverish with the mixture of the silver and the infection itself starting to burn. In the blood that is starting to seep out, you are starting to see yellowish mucus also starting to come out with the blood in his veins.
4.
Okay. This time you do find yourself kind of breaking free of that haze in your path as you start to push forward, drawing closer. The figure in response to your cry, to your shouts at them, doesn't respond. Instead, they just start to back further away, keeping the distance between you and them as you try to get closer and closer. As you feel that burning in your other arm, looking down, you see the same red hot line that you see matching your one arm cutting across. You hear Eliza's voice come in. What are you seeing, Jace?
I'm seeing these lines on my arms. They're on fire. The person that they're backing away. I'm making my way towards them. But I was slow at first. But they're not staying put. I think they're trying to leave.
Keep pushing forward.
Somewhere.
Follow them. Follow them.
All right.
This next one's going to be big. Keep pushing. At this point, Eliza looks towards everyone as she raises the scalpel off of his arm and moves it to the center of his sternum over his chest.
Aspen will run up to just over his shoulder, kind of kneel down next to his shoulder while he's laying down, and just have a hand on his shoulder, just in case.
Out of curiosity, Jace, what's your health looking like?
I got 3 untouched right now. That's it.
Okay. Suddenly, you feel a shock to your chest as you get within like an arm's reach of the man in front of you. It's almost like you've gotten shot to the chest, like a burning fire just hits you in the center of the chest as everyone sees her set the scalpel right above his sternum and start pulling downward over his chest. That searing, hot, burning sensation starts at the top of your chest and starts dragging downward. Go ahead and make another composure and resolve check.
Three.
Okay. This time you are going to gain another rage, and you are going to take a point of aggravated willpower damage as the burning is just agonizing. You find yourself, even in your mind's eye, dropping to your knees with the pain of this searing sensation. Unable to stop yourself, you let out a scream of pain that sends your head kind of coiling backwards as the pain of this scalpel just digs into your chest, pulling downwards. Lucas, I need you to give me a strength and athletics to try and hold him in place. Because if he jerks too much, it could cause Eliza to stab in or jerk to the side.
4 successes.
4 successes is enough. It does keep him still. Okay. So, dropping to your knees in the vision, Jace, you find yourself staring down at the paneled floor of the bar in your vision. The yellow is now starting to become so thick and cloudy. You feel hands gripping at your shoulders, holding you in place. What do you wish to do?
Gonna try and stand up, try and resist being pulled down.
Okay, give me a strength and athletics.
It's not possible to change while, like, just in my head, right?
Try it.
All right. I'm gonna try and go into Glabro.
Okay, make the rage check.
We're good.
Okay. So even in your mind's eye and in front of everyone else, Jace starts to grow and thicken, his muscles growing thicker and fuller. Even underneath Eliza, as she is drawing the blade across him, he grows bigger. Jace, breathe. Remember where you are. Remember that this is all in your mind. This is the infection spreading. Push it. Push through it.
When I see him go into Glabro, I'm gonna move closer and kneel so I'm near him. Hands hovering over, but not quite touching him yet. Continuing to sing and just waiting, just in case, like, he does jerk again and if Lucas needs help.
Okay, give me that strength and athletics roll to stand up.
Where is Charles?
Charles is standing nearby. He seems to be watching the ritual and prepared to pounce, but he's also watching the perimeter for any unexpected arrivals or guests, because he knows that now he's technically connected to the hive mind again. And so he's expecting any unwanted company to arrive also.
Yeah, Lucas just want to make sure that he has eyes on where he's at.
He's
and that he is
definitely
close.
in the periphery, yes.
Okay.
3.
Okay. You struggle against Lucas, but Lucas is too strong and holds you down. As you kind of feel yourself pulling, Eliza's voice come in and says, "Not like that. Use your will. This is in your mind, not in your body." With that, make a composure and resolve check. You can add another die from Jester.
Another 5.
With that, you find yourself throwing off the arms and standing up. And as you look around, you can see that it is actually the infected friends and packmates that were holding you down, but they have been flung back as you stand up. The cloaked and shrouded figure has backed up a little further away from you, but is still staring in your direction, that glowing red and green eye staring towards you.
Taking a deep breath, Eliza's words running through that it's not physical, gonna drop back down to Hamid.
Okay. So as you take that steadying breath, you shrink down back to your Hamid form. Everyone else also sees him shrinking back down to his Hamid form once more. Take another aggravated physical damage as she drags that blade down your chest even further. At this point, everyone is seeing blood welling and spilling out of his arms and chest down his body. It is becoming a rather gruesome affair at this point. You have chosen not to regenerate, and your abilities or your ability to maintain your mind has allowed you not to instinctually regenerate. If you fail one of these checks, I will make you regenerate, but so far you have not. But because of the pain of this, I need you to make an unspent willpower check. So however many unspent willpower boxes you have, that's how many dice you want to roll. No rage dice.
No rate, okay. Three.
Okay. So, the pain is searing. Make me a composure and resolve.
Four.
Okay, so you were able to maintain your feet and keep pushing forward. Go ahead and take another, let's make it a superficial willpower damage in this case.
Okay.
But you are able to keep your feet and start pushing forward towards the cloaked figure. Reaching out towards them, you have one box left, right? One aggravated box left before you're full? Okay.
Correct.
At this point, you are within an arm's reach of the individual. What do you wish to do?
With this being in his mind, going to try and, with them being within arm's reach, see if he can move them closer to him. Within the spect of his mind, trying to get all the control he can, move them closer to him.
Give me a stamina and resolve.
That's a 4 with a crit.
Okay. The yellow haze and cloud that seems to be clouding your vision, with your sheer will, you shove the cloud aside and it disperses in your mind long enough that you reach out and grab the front of the robe with your hand, pulling them close to your face. As you do so, the hood of the robe falls back, revealing their face. And what you see is a man with short, dark hair and a beard. You see you. One glowing green eye, one glowing red eye, staring back at you. A reflection like in a mirror.
Not quite what I expected.
I am already inside you. We're the same, you and I. You can't get rid of me that easy.
Nothing about this process is easy. And what you're doing here, manipulating my mind. If you're saying we're the same, then you know who I am. This is my everyday. Decay, rot. What you're doing doesn't scare me. You're in my mind. I have full control. Do what you will.
Not any more. He reaches out and grabs the side of your head. Go ahead and give me another unspent willpower check. So even the superficial willpower is considered spent at this point.
Yep. Another 3.
Okay. Despite the slamming of the hands against your head, you are able to maintain enough control that the superficial damage becoming aggravated doesn't allow them to take control of your mind as the last point of aggravated damage fills and the yellow becomes red, becomes black, and you fade into unconsciousness. As the last bit of blood spills out of Jace's body, so too does the last bit of infection as yellow mucus coughs up out of Jace's mouth and pours out of Jace's exposed chest and arms. Eliza pours it into the pan, collecting it before any of it hits the ground, making sure that all of it is caught. None of it leaks down onto the earth. She moves along, squeezing his arms, making sure that all of it is out, that every last bit is drained. She then checks his pulse. And then looks towards Aspen. Will you do the honors, dear?
Yes, of course. And yeah, she'll just keep that hand on his shoulder. And roll Mother's Touch, yes.
Mm-hmm.
That is 5 with a crit.
Okay. Jace. Everything is dark. Pure blissful quiet. Inky blackness. And still. Then for a moment, you find yourself sitting in that field again by that babbling brook. The one from your peaceful dreams. The one that you knew to be a very, very bad place. But this time it's different. Because this time, your companion isn't Olivia. This time, your companion is Rat. Hey.
See you. What are you doing here?
Giving you a glimpse of what death looks like.
It's peaceful.
Yeah. It's not all a shit show after everything's over.
You know, I kind of was the kind of guy that I just kind of went all to blackness afterwards. So I take this.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is kind of a temporary stay.
So did it work?
You did good.
I didn't really do it. Eliza did the procedure.
Oh no. All she did is cut you up. Hell, I could have taken you to a butcher shop for that.
I'm not going to any butcher that you recommend. No.
Come on, they cleaned the knives with like rags they found in the dumpster. It's fine.
Well, maybe another like random Saturday.
You kept your head. Even when you saw the things you saw. And I know, I'm Dreams-In-Decay. I see fucked up shit all the time.
Hey, you heard that part, huh?
I'm always keeping tabs on you.
It wasn't easy. This
Not supposed to be.
whole process down here. Yeah, you made Ohio look like a cakewalk compared to this.
That was just training. Call it the tutorial.
Raging spirits that you make me do, that's tutorial. I guess for this, no, you're right. Like Dark Souls.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever actually thanked you for having me come down here. It's a weird thing
You
to
meant
think.
fuck instead of thank, right?
Kind of. It's more of a fuck you, thank you kind of thing.
Oh,
Fuck
okay,
you,
yeah. I get that a lot.
Because I've died now, and that wouldn't have happened if you didn't have me come here. But this place is exactly what I was looking for.
Good. I'm gonna tell you something. Call it a premonition of sorts. Because, you know, you took one for the team here, and death is never fun for anyone. And, well, it's going to hurt for a bit, so you're going to be laid up for a little while. There's a lot of pain coming. Specifically for you. And you're going to want to do something stupid. You gotta not. As much as you want to.
Doing things stupid's kind of my forte, though.
This time you can't. what you're doing here, it's bigger. It's more important. And in the long run, it'll make the pain worth it.
Giving me the old endure the pain for the better good kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, Payne and I aren't like, we're not even acquaintances.
Yeah.
I will heed your warning. I'll try and keep my head and stay logical about things.
Try. After all, you're only human. Kinda.
Yeah, 33% and stuff afterwards, but yeah, I hear you.
Well, I guess I should say I'm sorry.
For what?
At that point, he leaps on you and bites down super, super hard. You let out a scream as blinding light fills your vision. And you find yourself waking up in the cairn. Your body hurting like it's never hurt before. You have healed 1 aggravated damage, but you are still full up on ag. You have lost the wolf, but you are alive. You see Aspen, her hand on your shoulder, and Jester. Eliza, who is covered in your blood on her hands and arms, almost like a butcher herself, having moved the silver implements and everything away. Looks like she is taking the pan of mucus away to be disposed of.
You guys are pushing down kind of hard. Like, I hurt everywhere.
Lucas will just lean over real close to his face and like look at him for a second. Then give him a couple of rough pats on the cheek. Yeah. Yeah, that's him.
Glad you're back.
Parts of me.
All the parts that matter.
Yeah. I think this is gonna take a while.
It is, Eliza says, calling from over.
Thank you. You'll look around, all of you. I wouldn't be able to get through that without you guys.
Glad you're okay.
You need to cut off one of your feet, just so you know.
What?
Yeah, if you're feeling
As-
it's like a ghost limb.
That's like a ghost limb, yeah. Take the whole foot.
Gonna kind of look for Eliza. Eliza, that he like can't lean forward in too much pain, so he can't see his foot. You took my foot?
It'll grow back.
It will.
I get a peg leg for a little bit at least. Pirates Night's coming up.
Might miss that.
So as everyone celebrates the success of the Rite, and as Jace, relieved that the last of the infection is purged, this is where our story comes to a close this evening. But not, of course, without one last scene. This scene takes us to the zoo, of all places. Zoo Tampa, nearby, just a few miles away from the cairn. It's late at night, that very same night. The zoo is closed. There are no patrons, maybe the lone security guard wandering the grounds. As the security guard walks their route, the flashlight sweeping over the concrete, it passes over one of the cages, the red wolf pen, where the wolves can be seen prowling along the fences. It then passes back to the sidewalk as the man continues on, the sounds of his heeled shoes clattering off the pavement. We then move to one of the trees hanging over the wolf pen, where we see a large silhouette the size of a man perched up in the tree.
Just a bite. We only want a bite. It'll take the pain away. It'll take the pain away for all they's done. Just a bite. Just a long bite.
Long, sharp, pointed teeth glint in the moonlight as saliva drips down into the wolf pen down below. And that's where our story comes to a close this evening. Thank you so much to these amazing players. Thank you to everybody watching at home. Go follow St. Pete by Night on all of the social media listed down below, and come join our community by following that Discord link. We've got Hellhounds this Friday over on YouTube at 7 p.m. So tune in for that to see what the other pack's up to, and come on back for the next episode of Rage Across Tampa next Tuesday here on Twitch at 10 p.m. For these amazing players, I'm Kent. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Have a lovely evening.
This has been a St. Petersburg by Night production. Rage Across Tampa is produced in agreement with the World of Darkness and Dark Pack. The storyteller for Rage Across Tampa is Kent. Tonight's characters were voiced by Preston, Champ, Noree, and Weiss. Visit our website at stpetbynight.com for more information about all of our productions and how you can become part of our community. Thank you for listening. Until next time, fangs, stakes, and claws out.